a sudden, everyone needs a tip. Have you seen that self-checkout machine lately? Used to be you could just pay what came up on the screen, but all of a sudden, some of the machines are now showing the option of leaving a tip for the person behind the register. A lot of people say they just feel it guilts them into leaving 20% or more for a person that wouldn't normally get a tip. We saw it turn up at an Apple store in the last month or so as well. Now people are kind of firing back at the guilt trip on guilt tips. On today's Ask the Expert, we're joined by Valerie Sokolosky. She's an etiquette expert. She's in the KRLD Zoom room. Valerie, thank you so much for taking the time.
You are so welcome. Interesting topic.
It really is. There are people like servers that make their paychecks through the tips because their hourly wages are so low. Why are we getting guilted into doing it more now?
Well, because it's a machine that's pushed around into our face, and it's like, actually, statistically, 54% of people feel guilty if they don't respond to that screen, if that isn't interesting.
Yeah, it's also, you kind of almost forget what you would have tipped anyways. I used to always think growing up, 20% or more for services, an experience, maybe dining, you could get away with maybe a little less than that, depending on how that customer service was. But is that really the case anymore?
You know, Kristen, it's no, it's not the case. It's in our face, not the case in our face. And the reality is the tipping now starts often at 20%. I've even seen starting at 22%. So it's become very irritating. And I'll tell you, I researched this because I knew I'd be on Fox all over the place with the topic, and everyone is agitated. There are very few people that are just thrilled that they have to respond to a machine. Now, having said that, we all do want a tip for service. But then the question is, okay, I order a cup of coffee, it's handed to me, and I'm supposed to tip 20%? I don't think so. Most people are getting a little frustrated.
Another place in the food aisle that we see this happening is at certain restaurants where you're asked to tip before you even get the food, because these are the restaurants where you pay in advance.
You know, it's saying a lot about what's going on just in our country and in the economy, isn't it? People, let's take one perspective, are needing more tips. The other perspective is it's how they're asking for it. I talked with a waiter at a restaurant, and we just had a nice conversation about the fact that this has always been the case. Tipping is to ensure promptness, TIP. Well, what's promptness when you're just turning around, hitting a machine, and handing me something? Sometimes with a smile, we hope, but not even always for that. So it's an interesting question. Here's one of the answers, I believe, and that is that there is a place on the screen that says custom tip. And that's where I often will go. I'll hit custom tip, and then I'll decide what I feel is appropriate, and that's what I put in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny because even this weekend, so many memes have popped up about this. I'm Catholic, and I saw something pop up on my timeline about, going to get communion, and then there's a tip.
Oh no,
for 20%, 25 or 30%. And it's just tongue in cheek, but it's like at one point, how far are we being guilted? Have you seen any statistics about how much extra money we're actually spending that we may not be intending on that purchase, or if this is actually beneficial to the service industry right now?
Well, I'm not sure about the service industry, but I will tell you that, again, as I've researched this, what I'm hearing from the public is, look, it's hard times. I treat myself to a cup of coffee once in a while, and I'm paying as much as $6 for a cup of coffee. And then so it's kind of a mood that's being set. And I think, to your point, people have to decide what they are willing or able to do. So listen, I appreciate wait service. And when I get good service, even if it's just a cup of coffee, if it's delivered with a smile and a conversation of some kind that makes me feel appreciated, I am in your establishment. then I'm likely to tip. The problem is, don't make me feel guilty. I think that's how people are feeling, Kristen.
And then the other part of it is these tips are coming in for industries that don't normally see tips, and that's frustrating in itself. Valerie Sokolosky, thank you so much for the time.
It's been a joy. Thank you.